Get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up.
Come on, kick the funk. Rock to the rhythm, go. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause ghetto funk has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto funk with the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause the squad has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto.
Get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up.
Here we go. Rock to the rhythm, go. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause ghetto funk has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto funk with the rhythm, you don't stop. Cause the squad has got to beat the show shot. I said rock to the rhythm, you don't stop. So who the squad that'll make the house drop? Ghetto. That's right.
Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. It's like that, y'all. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Come on. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Well, get up. Get up, do the up rock. Get down and shake it when the beat drop. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up.
Welcome, everyone, to a new iteration of Bear Their Souls. My name is Aldo Gandia. The Tooch will be here at the top of the next hour with his Bear State of Affairs, and he and I will talk a little football. And also, I'm going to share with him 3 trailers so that we can talk about movies that have just been released or will be released very, very soon. So I want to have that movie talk with him. It should be fun. Hey, Wild Hog, some new names here. I'm not sure I've seen Wild Hog here in here before. Bear down 100%. Absolutely, brother. Um, yeah, Stephen Barflies, you tongue twisted me there. That's a good one. By the way, since Zim posted that, hey, brother, true or guess Sigma. I like that. True or guess Sigma. Anyway, since Zim just posted that, I want to say that this iteration of Bare Their Souls, now that Dan Aguirre has left the show because of a work schedule issue, it's just not available at nights now when we do the show. So, we love him, and we hope that he'll come back and at least be a guest on some shows or do some special programming with us. So if you're wondering where Dan Aguirre is, it's just that his schedule didn't permit. We still love each other. He still thinks about my penis like night and day, even though he's married. It's a weird thing. Thank you, Big Mama. This show is amazing. I have to agree with you. So what is the show going to look like now? I'm going to, starting next week, start having some guests with me in the first hour and a half, whatever. And Dan is everybody's hero, Pig Vomit. And then, so we'll do that for a few weeks. And I've been kind of road testing BSing with Aldo, a show that I've got 2 episodes in. They were Friday or Saturday episodes, and I've been playing around with that concept to see if that's sustainable. And so Bare Their Souls might not be around. Maybe it will be around. I don't know. I'm going to play around with things. Every time there are changes with people leaving and what have you, I relish the opportunity to rethink what we can do in terms of providing you Bears information and entertainment. So, and I don't mean that in any disparaging way, of course, to Dan. I want him to if he's watching, for him to know that the door is wide open if he wants to come back or can come back. So, the show will evolve. I'm going to try to find a new voice for it or not. So we'll keep you posted. And thank you for continuing to show up here on Wednesday nights. Jay Sanders says, yeah, Bill Belichick to North Carolina Tar Heels, and he's taking what's the name of that guy who badmouths the Bears all the time? Mike Lombardo. He was the last few years he's been working in the gaming industry. He's taking Bill Belichick is taking Lombardo to be his general manager at North Carolina. Now he was an NFL general manager, not very successful, but that's what Belichick is doing. He signed I think it's a 3-year, $30 million contract. And I really do think that he wants to coach for 2 or 3 more years. And then I think in the contract, it says that he can then name his son as the head coach for the team. So he wants to keep it in the family. I've heard some rumor that his girlfriend goes there. Hey, he's not going to be a very good coach if he's going to be spending his time with his new girlfriend. But we wish him luck. I'm frankly not that big a Bill Belichick fan. He just treated the media and fans in such a cantankerous manner and now he works in the media, and now he needs the fans to support him. And I don't know. I just be a nice person in front of me. Answer the fucking questions, and those that you don't want to answer, don't just mumble something. So, but yeah, is the guy a good football coach? He probably is, although he didn't win much without Tom Brady, right? So, good luck to Bill Belichick, and don't ever bring up again Bill Belichick to the Chicago Bears. That's just not going to happen. So, I put together a video for Buffon 55. Buffon 55 is our Tuesday night show that's hosted by John Buffon. His uncle was Doug Buffon, who passed away about, 10 years ago now, maybe less. And so I always put together a video, and then, I release it the next day on social media, and I've gotten overwhelming, huge response. And it's a topic that needs more discussion. So I'm going to start it off with some preliminary thoughts, and then when John is here, I'll talk to him about the issues that are raised in this video. Now, I'm going to play it again here, so if you haven't seen it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I want to preface the video by saying, when Ryan Poles was hired, I was excited because the plan that he was taking was the plan that I supported. Tear it all fucking down. Tear it all down. But the thing is, he tore it all down, but he hasn't built it yet in a manner that we can see some victories and division titles and eventually Super Bowls. That's pretty far off in the distance. And we'll talk about that more. So I supported his philosophy. It's the execution of the philosophy where he has fallen short. And other general managers make the same mistakes and they get a second chance. I am not here to say that Ryan Poles doesn't deserve to continue to be the general manager of the Chicago Bears. I am here to tell you that there are questions about his execution of his goals that we need to talk about. That if I was Kevin Warren, I'd be talking about it too, with people who know the game of football really well, with confidants, just to get more information. And I'm hoping that through the comments, I'll hear your thoughts on this situation with Ryan Poles, and I'm going to continue to gather information. My mind is totally open, but let's take a look at what he promised when he was introduced to the Chicago Bears, and we'll talk about it on the other end.
At this time, I'd like to welcome to the dais General Manager Ryan Poles.
Over 34 months ago, Ryan Poles was introduced by Bears chairman George McCaskey as the team's new general manager.
Good afternoon.
He made 7 promises that day. Let's listen to each one by one, and assess how he's done.
We're going to build through the draft. We're going to acquire young, fast, and physical football players.
Well, he really hasn't adhered to that philosophy very well. In fact, in his first draft, he selected a 25-year-old wide receiver and return man who is no longer on the team.
That was as wide open as you could get. Slip, a fall, a throw, a drop.
The Chicago Bears, who have been sellers so far over the past week, are buyers today. They get wide receiver Chase Claypool.
A few months later, in mid-season, he traded a second-round draft pick for a wide receiver who would later be traded.
The Steelers, after 2.5 years, were clearly done with him. That should have been a trigger to the Chicago Bears, as it was to many other teams, that if the Steelers are done with a wide receiver, a seemingly talented wide receiver, maybe you shouldn't go out and try to get him. But they did. And they sent a second-round pick, and it was their second-round pick, and not the second that they got from the Baltimore Ravens in the Roquan Smith trade.
We're going to be selective in free agency, and we're going to connect evaluation with valuation.
Poles failed in his first attempt at free agency. Larry Ogunjobi agreed to a 3-year deal worth $40.5 million. A few days later, the Bears rescinded the deal due to a failed physical. But most importantly, Poles' valuation assessment has to be seriously questioned when it comes to offensive linemen. Sometimes it's better to overvalue certain position players because of their responsibilities. They are the key to protecting your quarterback, improving the pass and run game.
We're going to have a relentless approach to fix our weakness.
The year before Poles joined the Bears, they were 31st in sacks allowed.
The Browns have 9 sacks.
Currently, they're 32nd in last place. Needless to say, Poles' relentless approach to fixing problems has fixed nothing.
We're going to maintain great self-awareness of who we are.
What? I mean, what?
We're going to solve problems with open communication and candor.
One of the Bears' biggest problems has been communication, and the irony of all ironies is that it is the Bears players who have been candid about that miscommunication.
And we're going to consistently put players in position to succeed.
The results after 47 games are not good. You've either hired coaches who failed to put players in position to succeed, or acquired players unable to succeed consistently, or both. And then there's this.
And the last thing, the most important piece, is we're going to take the North and never give it back.
This was clearly the best line in Poles' introductory press conference. The problem is that he didn't deliver it with any conviction, and he hasn't delivered it at all.
Just said you can't take any of it for granted. It's absolutely heartbreaking for the Bears.
When Ryan Poles was hired, I admired the approach of gutting the roster and building a healthy salary cap. But his best player available approach has backfired on him. Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker are excellent defenders. But if you had prioritized building from the inside out, you might have instead drafted offensive and defensive linemen whose return on investment has equaled or surpassed what the two DBs have delivered. Poles' future with the Bears is now in doubt. If he is in fact unhappy with reporting to Kevin Warren, he needs to get over it. Convince Kevin Warren that you have the right plan to correct mistakes, and if you can't do that, then you need to go. All right, so all of those comments from Ryan Poles were taken from his introductory press conference, where at that same press conference, he announced Matt Eberflus was the head coach. And it all happened pretty fast. There's still debate as to whether George McCaskey or the people in the search committee pushed Matt Eberflus onto Ryan Poles, guided him there. We do know that they both have the same agent. So, but the big thing here is that those were the words, and the man that was supposed to inspire us, that was supposed to make us feel we're fucking finally turning the corner. This guy I like. It's almost like how Thomas Brown talks, but yeah, Thomas Brown, at least for now, very small sample size, is fucking up just like Ryan Poles, but I have a lot more confidence in Thomas Brown than I do Ryan Poles right now, because we have a larger sample size. But if I am the general manager and I'm being introduced at the introductory press conference, I'm going to come out there like a fucking banshee, man. I am going to come out there strong. Chicago is going to fall in love with me. And I'm exaggerating when I say some of this. Like, I'll come out there and say, I want to thank George McCaskey. I want to thank, all the motherfuckers that I'm supposed to thank. I want to thank them all. I want to start off with an opening statement, and that's just going to floor people. Obviously can't say fucking all the fucking people, but something. And then you're going to get into your plan, and you don't need some crumpled up papers that you're going to be looking down on and reading from. You should be talking from the heart. Why? Because this is the plan you've been developing for years. This is the plan that you sold George McCaskey on. This is the plan that you want to sell Chicago Bears fans on. You don't want to, I wrote this last night before I put the kids to bed, so I got a little distracted. That's not a general manager. That's not a leader. He had to come out there and say, listen, gonna talk from my heart. I value this job very much. I love this organization, the Chicago Bears, and what they represent. But unfortunately, we've been losers the last few years, and we have to correct that. We have to correct it for Virginia, for the entire McCaskey family. We have to correct it for the city of Chicago, and most of all, we have to correct it for the Chicago Bears football fans who have suffered enough. That's exactly how I would put it. Let everybody know that you are in charge. And Ryan was being meek there. He wasn't being strong. And he lays out these philosophies, and some of them aren't even philosophies. He had 7 things. This needed a communication specialist to sit down with him and say, okay, first of all, we're going to put this aside over here. We'll do some bullet points of these points, and I want you to talk about the draft, the free agency, all from the heart. All from the heart. But first of all, let's take a look at these 7 things that here, because some of them aren't even philosophies. We could probably make it 5. We could probably make it fucking 3. Off the top of my head, we are going to play so hard that the police might issue an arrest warrant on us. That's how hard we're going to play. We'll play within the rules. Trust me, but we're going to play a lot harder and in the style, a lot harder than we have been, and in the style of great Bears legends like Dick Butkus and so forth. This is, as I'm saying this is essentially the David Campbell speech in Detroit, but not with the corny line that we're going to, what was it? Then we're going to suck kneecaps on the way up or whatever it was. This is, he's got to exhibit Chicago. And then after that, he should say, we are going to build from the draft. That's why I'm not going to make any promises here. I'm not going to say that we're going to be in the Super Bowl in 2025. I can't do that because we're building through the draft, and it takes time to develop certain players. It takes time to get everything functioning at a high level where you can then go after the Kansas City Chiefs and after the top NFC North teams. Be straight up. Be straight up with your fans. He actually said in that press conference, he was asked the question, can you compete in 2022? Yeah, I think we can. I think we can. That's what he said. That's not washing for me. Now, a lot of people are going to say, dude, you sound like a hypocrite because you were all for him. I was. And I'm still rooting for him. But I am now, with evaluating the results he's developed, he's delivered through 35 games or however many they've played. It's more than that. It's time to look back and see, okay, who did we really bring in here? And some of these things that we pushed aside because we're so hopeful as fans, now we got to push them back. We got to examine them. And we got to ask ourselves, is this the right leader? And right now, it's not looking really good for him. As I said at the end of that video, he's got to go toe-to-toe with Kevin Warren. He just has to. He's got to go toe-to-toe and say, dude, this is what my contract says. This is the responsibilities that I have. All right? I understand I'm reporting to you now and not George. And I'm fine with that. But don't overstep. Don't step into the things that I am contractually bound to do. And there's a video on that very subject that I'm going to share with you. I was browsing through things to share with you guys today. And this video from Colin Cowherd's podcast was very interesting. He talked to John Middlecoff, who was a scout for the San Francisco 49ers, has a very good reputation. And then he left the scouting business and has started looking at a media career. He's done some writing for The Athletic. I'm not sure. I don't think he's there anymore, but he's doing the podcast rounds now. John Middlecoff, a name to pay attention to. Listen to what he says here when he's asked about if Mike Vrabel would be the perfect coach for the Chicago Bears.
To me, Vrabel makes a lot of sense here.
Yes.
Like, they need one thing. When you watch Dan Campbell, when you took over the Lions, it was a job where you go, you can't do this, man. it ain't going to work. This is not going to happen here. And he basically said, screw you. It sure as hell is. And he had that type personality. But this is the problem, Colin. It gets back to Kevin Warren. That press conference he gave after they fired Eberflus, Ryan Poles, the GM, was riding shotgun. Well, why does every president, like I'm sure Kevin Warren's making 7 figures. He was hired to build the stadium, which is an extremely important job. But no one really cares about that. Like, you don't give press conferences for selling PSLs or getting the naming rights deal for $400 million, even though it's a really big deal to the business. In the business we're all in, no one talks about that. Where do you get credit? When you're around the football team. And I think football people get very, very uncomfortable when a guy like him is around when coaches are getting fired, or if you were winning, he'd be right there. But when you lose, like today in the first half, all I could think about is like Kevin Warren's probably slithering out in his seat, right? I don't want to sit next to Poles or, this new interim coach. Like, this is not my problem. But if things go well, they want them. Look at the 49ers are a good example. It's John and Kyle. And anything that happens is strictly on them. And they got an issue, they go right to Jed. And it's a streamlined process. And that's the way with every good organization. If Les and Sean McVay need something, they can go to the Kroenke. Now, they work with the president and you have good relationships, but it feels like to have a coach fired and have him lead the press conference is one of the more glaring things I've seen in recent memory. Shouldn't Ryan Poles be giving this press conference?
Yes.
And I heard from a bunch of people in the league, all these candidates see that. And that's where you get a guy like Vrabel that goes, maybe I'll figure out and I can fake it for a year. And then once I start winning, I will take over. But that's a turnoff to a lot of people.
I want to thank Ravi for pointing out that Middlecoff was a scout for the Eagles. Did he also scout for the 49ers? I thought it was 49ers and maybe some other teams. Middlecoff, I mispronounced. Ravi knows him. He says, I like Middlecoff, so he's more aware of him than I am. I just heard of him for the first time when I found that clip about an hour and a half ago. But this is the important thing here. Kevin Warren is elbowing Ryan Poles, and Poles needs to stand up to him and say, listen, this is not how it works here. This is not how it works. Let me share with you some of the things that were posted while that video was up and even before it. MC Fact says Poles shouldn't get into a confrontation with Warren. I'm not saying, go in there with your chest out and, put your finger in his chest, but what I'm suggesting, you've got to have a really serious conversation about roles and responsibilities. Every organization I've ever been a part of, some of the biggest fuck-ups start when people are doing the same job, and you're doing my job. I don't want to do your job. It's just messed up. You got to have clear set roles and responsibilities, and everything that is expected of you in your job has to be pointed out and talked about in dialogue with the people involved, so that's the only way you get clear operation. We saw in that press conference how dysfunctional that whole thing looked. So I'm not saying, kick his ass, kick Warren's ass. What I am saying is get it straight. And like Middlecoff said, Poles should have been leading that press conference. So PJ says, Aldo, I love you, man, and I love you too, PJ, but I hate the narrative of everyone now turning on Poles. So here's the thing. J2K says, I was so tired of everyone saying trust in Poles before he had a resume to trust. And J2K adds, Aldo, now we have a resume to judge Poles on. Now it's time to judge him. And that's what we're doing here, PJ. I'm not sure when you jumped in, but I said I was excited about him. I was excited about that. He has Chicago Bears blood in him and so forth. But we've seen enough now to the things that we thought, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. He's a little nervous in front of the press conference. He's not. He didn't say that the right way, or he didn't say that the way I would prefer as a fan. Now is the time to analyze all those things, and most of all, analyze the results. And the results are bad. You fired Matt Eberflus because of the win-loss record and the mistakes he was doing at the end of the game. Well, you got the same win-loss record Ryan Poles. And so when should management fire you? And I really do think, unfortunately, that there will be a new general manager for the Chicago Bears in 2025. I think Poles has too much pride to let Kevin Warren elbow him out. I think his confidence has improved, and so he might, come to an ultimatum with the president and CEO of the Chicago Bears, Kevin Warren. I don't know. B Minor says, Poles brought talent. We have talent. Leadership comes from the coach. We don't have the right coach. B Minor, I appreciate that thought very much. Poles did bring talent. He also bypassed some talent. And he also took a philosophy that has been criticized for years now. I mean, Danny Shinman was the first one to mention. He's drafting defensive backs, to mention it here in the barroom. He's drafting defensive backs. He's building from the outside in. And I'm like, dude, give the fucking guy a chance. He just got the job. If he's going by best player available, maybe the offensive linemen drafted after, weren't nearly as good as this guy's. I stood up for him. But the thing is, in that video, you will see that 1 or 2 or 3 picks after Gordon and Brisker were guys that would be more valuable to the Chicago Bears, because I believe, and I bet you 90% of the people who are watching live or will watch later believe the same thing. You build from the trenches out. You get the quarterback first, of course, because that's how the league has become. But football is still football. You got to knock the shit out of the guy across from you, and that happens first and foremost at the offensive and defensive lines. And he bypassed on guys that could have set that tone, set that edge. And that's a big thing, V Minor. That's a huge fucking thing. Steven Z says the Bears have somehow botched making the correct move, only in Chicago. It is frustrating. Let me play a clip for you from Cole Kmet. I actually included way too much on this, and I don't have the ability to start it at a certain point. I got to play the whole 3 minutes and 19 seconds. But this is Cole Kmet at Monday's press conference, and he says that first of all, he's asked by Courtney Cronin a question about the miscatch. He almost like dismisses it. Number 2, he's asked another question about the game. But number 3, the one that I really want you to hear, is from Mark Grody. And Mark Grody asked him, is this taking its toll on you, so to speak?
Hey, Cole, can you walk us through the 2-point drop and kind of like what happened in that sequence?
Yeah, just dropped it. Can't let the ball get in my body there. So just got to catch it with my hands.
Cole, a couple of guys said that, practice last week was good. The vibes were good. The energy was good. How surprised were you just by the way the game went? And does that inform, does that give you caution as to, okay, we can have a good week, but we still need to do it on Sunday if we plan on getting out of this losing streak here?
Yeah, I felt like we had a good week of prep, and I think when it just came down to the game, we didn't execute. And give them credit too. They, like I was saying earlier, they had some good calls against us for some of the things. It doesn't give me caution. I know that, our process is right, and we had a good week, and you just got to keep doing that, and you got to just be better on Sunday.
Big call. I know we keep asking you forms of this question, but the losing streak keeps getting longer, obviously at 7 now. What's the mindset? Is it just gotten to the point where it's ridiculous in your minds that it's gotten to this point of 7 straight losses? Like what is the talk amongst yourselves when it comes to that? Because obviously it's astounding to the outside world.
Yeah, for me, it's been a lot, man. This isn't easy, and for sure, for me, a lot of individual mental battles you go through in your head. I feel like I've definitely been through a lot here, and I've been through my fair share of losing streaks, and this is definitely not easy. This has definitely been a mental battle, and trying to grind through this from a mental standpoint, and in terms of everything, just from my standpoint that I've been through, and trying to deal with this. And I know that there's areas that I look at myself where I got to be better, and I gotta do a better job, and I gotta do more on the field. And it's just tough to be in this spot right now. I mean, because I've been in this before, and it's just tough to see things going down the way that they have been. And but look, this is the situation that we're in and that I'm in. And I thought I had a good talk with my dad the other day about kind of perspectives moving forward. And at this point, he had a great thing that he said to me. It's like, as dark as this might seem in the moment right now, you got to have perspective as to what you get to do. And he was saying, he'd give anything to go back and just to play one more game and to be in the shape that I'm in right now, and to go out and play football. And I think that's kind of the perspective that I want to have going forward for these last four. And just enjoy it, being out there with the guys, put some really good stuff out on tape, and just enjoy each other's company while we go do it. So that's kind of where we're at this point. But I mean, overall, yeah, I mean, this process has it's been tough, man. It takes a toll on you mentally, and you definitely question things about yourself, and you got to fight those things. And but it's a hard deal for sure. And but I just keep the mindset that this type of adversity will only make me stronger going forward.
That's why Middlecoff was correct. You need a guy like a Vrabel. You need a guy that's going to come in and change the culture, because the culture has devolved. We have the captain, DJ Moore. His body language is saying, fuck this shit, I'm out. Although he doesn't play like that, but he is frustrated. You hear Cole Kmet, he's frustrated. You hear players talking to the media and letting out secrets. And that's frustrating to the players, to a lot of the players, Jalen Johnson and so forth. Now Jalen Johnson did what a lot of players wanted, but I think that whole thing didn't help the team in San Francisco. That was a huge fucking distraction. And Thomas Brown had enough on his plate than to worry about one of his star players, Anyway, I lost my train of thought, but the issue is this, is that Ryan Poles has to be questioned. You have to evaluate, because if you believe that things should go in synchronization, and there's just no way it's going to happen now, but if you've got General Manager Kevin Warren, and you're not going to take away his overseeing of football operations, then you've got to let him pick his own GM. And if he doesn't think Ryan Poles is the remedy to change the culture, to get wins, to continue to manage the cap properly, if he's not the guy, then Kevin Warren, because it's his job, he deserves to make the choice. I don't like it because he hasn't proven anything to me. Kevin hasn't, but that's the way it should be. BJ says not too long ago, fans were demanding more leadership. Warren shows leadership, and people don't like it. Here's my problem, PJ, is are you really showing leadership when you start off the press conference with the general manager? It should be his press conference, just like Colin Cowherd's guest said. Should have been Ryan Poles' press conference, and then Kevin Warren should have added his thoughts afterwards. But if Ryan Poles is going to make the final choice, which he is contractually says in his contract, that's his decision. He should be the one talking about the firing of Eberflus and what he's looking for in the next head coach and whatever else. He should start that press conference. What did Warren say at the start? He had that 8-minute speech. What were the first words you heard him say? You heard him say a lot. The word I am energized as ever to be the leader of this team. I said to myself when I first accepted this job that there will be days like this. Dude, that ain't the way to start a press conference. That ain't the way to start a press conference. He should have let Ryan Poles and coached Ryan Poles on what to say, to come out, not like he did that day, looking sheepishly and so forth, and not how he came out at his introductory press conference. Again, nervous, reading from crumbled pieces of paper. He should have told Ryan, listen, I need you to go out there and hit a home run. I need you to be aggressive and assertive with your words. And if you're asked questions that you don't want to answer, say you don't want to answer and move on. But tell people why you fired Eberflus and what you're looking for and the schedule for the hiring of the next head coach. It's your show. That's what he should have said. That's a leader. PJ, that's a leader, not elbowing your way and saying, I knew there would be days like this. That's bullshit. Come on. PJ says Poles lets leaders on the team walk out the door. So yeah, look at that. What Ryan Poles has done. He had Roquan Smith on this team. He's going to the playoffs. David Montgomery, he's going to the playoffs. Justin Fields, he's going to the playoffs. How come those other teams, the Ravens, the Lions, and the Steelers, can go to the playoffs with those three guys and we can't? And we had all three of them. I mean, I know that's a little simple-minded, but I think you understand my point. He's letting go integral pieces to the puzzle that make up a championship team. And sometimes you got to do some certain things like that because of the salary cap, and I know somebody like Swifty and Sports Network will say, well, we got 3 players for the Roquan Smith thing. So I understand that argument. It's a valid argument, but you try really hard to keep your stars, because that's a big part of building a culture in a team. A guy who's been there for 5-10 years has seen the worst and seen us now climb to the top. Those guys are valuable in the locker room. Are truly valuable. Bizarro World says, I don't think they can hire Mike Vrabel with Poles as the GM. I don't know why, but I don't know. I don't know if he's the best guy. Roquan was a Pro Bowler last year. Jay Sanders, you're absolutely right. Excuse me. A lot of people in the chat are mentioning Rick Spielman. I frankly am not going to engage, at least tonight, about choices for the head coach. Vrabel's name is very popular now, and somebody like that is necessary to change the culture. But I'm not going to engage because I have to do the proper research. What I would prefer to do is say, I would love for them to potentially interview these guys as opposed to saying, this guy for head coach. You never even fucking talk to the guy. How do you know? You don't know what happened to Vrabel and with the Titans and why he was released. You got to get to the bottom of that. How could you hire somebody who was fired without asking them that question that we all do when we're interviewing employees? Why did you leave your last job? I was fucking around with the cheerleaders. Okay, there's the door. Bye-bye. Just joking. Don't sue me. Thank you, Bizarro. I know, I am right. Fuck. Let's see what else other people said here. King Puka Nation. Now, I saved this one because King, from the minute Poles entered Hallis Hall, King is DMing me on X saying, this guy ain't it. Poles, and I'm getting pissed off because it's every week he's sending a DM, criticizing Ryan Poles. And I'm like, give the guy a chance, but everyone that was critical of the hire, I think, they get their moment in the sun here. Maybe, hopefully, Ryan Poles will prove King Pookie Nation and every Poles hater out there that they're wrong. Maybe that'll happen, but he's running out of time. He's running out of time fast, and he's first got to prove it to Kevin Warren. So, King Pookie Nation, kudos to you, bro. Mr. Shorty says, the problem is the McCaskies. It's not Poles. Warren was a McCaskey hire, and everyone hired always will be. It's hard for me to rebut that, Mr. Shorty, because, there are conflicting tales that George steps back, and Greg Gabriel, who has a show here at the Barroom Network and was the scouting director for 9 years, his experience with the McCaskey family is that they stayed out of stuff. And we heard reports like one of the reasons Matt Nagy was fired, George said that Matt said, "Who do you think we should start this week at quarterback?" And he says, "Isn't that your decision?" So there's evidence to support the fact that he hires people and stays out of the way. But I've also said that that he might have advised Poles to hire Eberflus. Now, he says in the press conference, I said, "I like all three of those guys. You make the decision." So, but the reality of the situation is that under George McCaskey's leadership as chairman of the team has been awful. They've only had one back-to-back season in his tenure, 2005 and 2006. One Super Bowl appearance, no Super Bowl wins, and the record lately, it's just I look at it, I read it, and I don't. It doesn't even stay in my mind because I don't want to believe that this is fucking true. So I don't know. My decision on McCaskey is, yeah, he's made some mistakes, but man, oh man, I mean, I bet you Ryan Poles will win a Super Bowl before the Chicago Bears, and isn't that weird, right? And then we'll be saying, I can't believe we let him go. So that's the way the world works, man. It's all fucked up. So, Mr. Shorty says, George, put another George in my charge. Julia says, so grateful for the real talk. Thanks, Aldo. You know what, man? I'm you. I'm you. You and me. We're fans of this team, and sometimes I feel guilty. That my daughter's Sunday is. They had a home inspection for a new house she wants to buy, and so I went over there. I started at 12 and stuff, and at 2:30, 2:45, I'm like, I gotta go. Game's gonna start. And I feel like a fucked up dad doing that. Should have stayed there until the inspector was done, but her husband was there, so I wouldn't have left if the husband wasn't there. Brandon is in the house. He says, facts, Mr. Shorty. Well, Brandon, let me set you straight on this. Anytime Mr. Shorty has facts, he's probably gotten them from me. No, that and the damn players. We needed Caleb in the hall, but just got Caleb and forgot we had an average roster. Good players have regressed, and it shows. So, again, that's the number one challenge for this head coach. He needs to come in and change the culture. Those guys who aren't giving those extra reps, like Cole Kmet said, those guys with poor body language, those guys who can't wait for the season to end, those guys who expect more of the same next year, those guys, they got to get their shit corrected. And only a strong head coach will do that. And so if you're looking at Ben Johnson over at Detroit, can he do that? Can he come in and change the culture? I don't think so. I think that's a Dan Campbell thing. Can Aaron Glenn change it? Let's listen to Ian Rappaport. Yeah, he's going to talk about these three candidates that are being mentioned most. Vrabel, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn. Listen to what he says.
I think Ben Johnson is a really, 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 really good head coach candidate. Sure. It's just, you have Vrabel, who's sort of more of like front of the room, leader of men, hard driving, disciplinarian type dude. Aaron Glenn is kind of like, obviously he's done an excellent job as a defensive coordinator, but more of like a rah-rah, spirited players type guy. Ben Johnson is, I would say, clearly the, just scheme, offensive play calling wise, clearly the top. Is he a front of the room leader of men type? Like maybe leaders come in all different forms, but I would say Vrabel is more of kind of like the classic in that realm. Now, again, you don't have to be a classic, like quote unquote leader of men. Like Mike McDaniel's not in Miami. And I think everyone, would sort of say, certainly deserves to be a head coach and has done some good things. So they come in all different forms. I'm just saying there's different ways you could sort of go with it.
He makes a truly, truly compelling argument there for Vrabel to be the head coach of Chicago Bears, because that might be the most important thing this team needs, is to change the culture of the team. Cole Kmet, you're going to fucking drop that 2-point pass? Give me 50 push-ups and run around this track until I tell you to stop. Something like that is going to the Ditka approach. You need that right now to correct this dysfunction that's going on in the locker room. Highly paid players, guys who are supposedly team leaders, just fucking up, not helping their rookie quarterback as much as they should, and coaches who are just, ineffective. Sorry, Chris Morgan. I know you got a great reputation in the league, but unless you agreed to coach these players, you should have said, "Hey, I need, this guy at left tackle ain't working it out, man. You need to find me a real left tackle," as opposed to what you probably said. "Yeah, let me work with him another year. I think we'll get him well." Remember that scene in Hard Knocks where we were talking about Velus Johnson? They cut out all the bad shit they said, or maybe they didn't have any bad shit they said. But they said all the good things, right? No, somebody should have said, yeah, the experiment should be over. This guy needs to go. First fucking game, he fucking muffs a punt. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And I'm tired of it, and I know all of us fans are tired of it too. It should not be allowed to continue. And I'm worried that Kevin Warren, I love a man of faith, but when you go to EHBO, we got to cut out all the swear words. We can't show any of the fighting scenes with the players. What are you doing? This is fucking football. This is the National fucking League. That's the way it is, man. You think that my heart doesn't go out when you see a player getting crushed in the head, possible concussion, hit in the knees, he's going to be walking with a limp and so forth. My heart goes out. But they know that this what they signed up for, just like a boxer, an MMA fighter, UFC fighter, whatever. They know, and so they've taken on that duty. And you cannot take the profanity out of the game. You cannot hide the fact that there are fights, that this is an emotional, violent game. And Kevin Warren is coming in here and turning the Chicago Bears into the teddy bears? No, you can't. We can't let that happen. So we got to speak up. Spread this video around, make your own video, go to social media, put all caps in, let people know these are the Chicago Bears. We don't fuck around with, trying to be nice in a league where people want to fucking bite your kneecaps off. Want to and sometimes do. Exactly, Travis. This is the fucking black and fucking blue division. Keith says, great show tonight. I have watching the final episode of Oh, man, Keith. My wife and I are big Survivor fans. Big time Survivor fans. And anyone in the chat room who does not watch this show, everyone that has taken my advice and watched an episode or two has said, thanks, man. I'm really enjoying this. It's a great reality show. Now, they've extended it after the pandemic. They extended it from 60 to 90 minutes, and there's a lot of, that extra half hour isn't really necessary. So aside from that, I think it's a fucking outstanding reality show and probably the best of all of those types of shows. But I haven't seen many more. So Flexstick says the Bears Hard Knocks was awful. The only thing we got was Flus, and has an amazing crib on the lake with a beehive. Yeah, I think Flus made a mistake in allowing the cameras to come to his home. I think, if I would have been head of communications for the Bears, I would have said, don't do it, bro. If you lose the opener, that's what people are going to be talking about. We're paying this guy. He's got a fucking mansion on Lake Michigan and blah, blah, blah. just keep that out. Yeah, if you want your family on there, yeah, film them at the games. Keep the fucking cameras out of your house. I would advise that for most people who are involved in some TV project. And I'm a former producer, so I know. Mr. Shorty says, this isn't football, Aldo. For the McCaskies, this is tea and crumpets. In the Riddick section of the Titanic. That's a good line, bro. Mr. Shorty, Bears Country Productions. You got to make sure you are checking them out. Go over to YouTube. Just leave this station right here and go to the YouTube and put in Bears Country Productions. Hit the subscribe button, and then that way, when they are live, you'll get that notification, just like you get for this show. And if they're doing a show at the same time that we are, fuck them. You turn into this one. So that's the way that is. J2K, let's see. PJ, every time I open up a PJ chat, and I'm thinking to myself, he's going to crucify me. Let's see what he's got going on. Although whether they show the cursing or not had no effect on the players. The players still curse. They didn't just show it on the air. Players did not walk around training camp guarding the words. You're absolutely right. I agree 100% with what you're saying there. The only thing that I think that you're leaving out is I was speaking, and I should have made that more clear. I was speaking from a fan perspective, a consumer of television and the game of football, and a frequent watcher of the Hard Knocks. I probably have watched, 75% of them, something like that, and certainly watched religiously the first few seasons when Hard Knocks established its brand as showing a real behind-the-scenes look. Players playing gags on people. I remember the Shannon Sharp thing where he was pissed off, and the swearing and the fights and just getting a real behind the scenes look. You're absolutely right. It probably had no effect. The fact that the Warren and Poles and whoever else was behind that had them edit out all of that stuff that was part of the Hard Knocks brand didn't impact the players one way or another, in my opinion and yours, but it definitely impacted the opinion of watchers of the show. It's the most watered down Hard Knocks ever. And now the new one, Hard Knocks with the AFC Central, where they're bouncing from Pittsburgh to Cleveland and the two other Central teams, it's fantastic. It's uncensored, and it is very well paced, and they're getting great footage and stuff. It's fantastic. I hope they do the NFC Central next time, but they gotta tell Warren, hey, dude, watch the PG version. We have a version of that too. All right, we are, where are we? About 57, 58 minutes into the show. Johnny Santucci should be with us in 5 minutes or so. Tucci, give me a thumbs up and let me know when you're ready. Look at this motherfucker is ready. Motherfucker is ready. I could have gone on for another hour, but I know that all of you people really, really came here to watch Tooch, to listen to his Bears state of affairs and absorb it and write into the comments. That fucking Tooch, man, he is awesome. And praise Tooch in many more ways than I have. And I'm going to start doing it now. Can you tell that I'm wasting time just to play this clip? Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Santucci.
Is this you and me tonight?
Just the two of us.
Right.
Danny Shimon was going to join us, but we've decided to do it on another date, so it's just the two of us.
Yeah, it'll give you some time to study up on players, college players.
Yeah, exactly. He will be with us, so be ready for that. Nice. Hey, I want to share 2 or 3 movie clips with you. So we'll do that in the second half hour. I'd like to get out here by about 10:15 the latest. So we'll start with your Bears state of affairs. We'll talk about it. And I want to get your take on Ryan Poles'. I'm sure you're going to include Ryan Poles' future. I'm sure you're going to include that.
He definitely doesn't escape this one without a few shots from Tooch.
Exactly. And then we'll talk about the movies and then get out of here. All right. So here it is, Johnny Santucci, Bears State of Affairs.
Everyone on this show's a dog and a loser. Not John. He's the best, except for me. Except for me.
All right, Bears State of Affairs. Yeah, I just came here to gauge your level of pain. That's it.
Oh, that hurts. Yes.
The highest level of pain being a Bears fan. Yeah. All right. NFL Week 15. What's happening, Barflies? Well, the Bears played their 13th game of the season, a 38-13 ass whipping in San Francisco for their 7th loss in a row. It was the Bears' 9th loss of the year, which means that the team will finish with a losing record for the 11th time in the last 12 seasons. 12. I know you didn't know it was that bad, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's why I was gauging our level of pain also. Yeah, 12-4 record in 2018 being the lone exception. Yeah, as well, Sunday's loss in San Francisco continued their losing streak on the road. The Bears have not won a Sunday road game since December 2021. Let that sink in. Yeah, this game last Sunday, it might be in my top 10 games worst performances by a Bears team. Yeah, how bad was it? Well, the 49ers punished the Bears in all phases of the game. Kyle Shanahan made the Bears' defense look foolish, and their skill position players racked up big yards. That tight end George Kittle was open on every pass play, Aldo. He was open.
Fire, man!
I don't know why they didn't decide to cover him on defense, man.
Cover 3 all game long. Unbelievable.
Yeah, all game long. Picked apart. Yeah, wide receiver Juwan Jennings took advantage of some blown coverages and had 2 touchdowns. Backup running back Isaac Guerrero ran hard, had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Quarterback Brock Purdy carved up the Bears' secondary. The 49ers put on an absolute clinic on offense and defense. Yeah, Bears
I'm
went
crying.
Me too. It was awful. It was awful. Yeah, the Bears went to the locker room at halftime down 24-0. They had more punts than net yards of offense. 5 punts, 4 yards of net offense. I don't think I've ever seen that before, Aldo.
Yeah, I hope we never will.
We never do again. Yeah. By comparison, the 49ers had 319 yards of offense in the first half. Yeah. Yeah, Bears 4 yards of offense in the first half was their fewest and a half in this millennium.
Jesus.
I know. Bear of bad news. Yeah. In the second half, though, the Bears' 2 top rookies, Williams and Adunze, they would hook up for a pair of touchdowns. Yeah, but with many fans expecting a bounce after the firing of Matt Eberflus on Black Friday and the promotion of Thomas Brown to interim head coach, the Bears look like a high school team versus the 49ers.
It sure did.
The rebuilt Bears coaching staff was outcoached, outclassed, and outgunned. Oh, gentle viewer, you might be asking, how did this team get worse after firing Matt Eberflus? Shit. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, Bears fire Matt Eberflus. Bears still suck. Yeah. After all, he's been arguably the worst coach in Bears history. How did they get worse? Let me count the ways. Let's start with the players who staged a successful mutiny against their hapless head coach through beat reporters and social media. Then they came out and shit the bed 10 days later versus a 49ers team long overdue for a bounce back. Whew, amazingly, after dumping the worst head coach in Bears history, the team looked lost on offense and defense. With Eberflus fired, there should have been a bounce in effort. There was none. The Bears players failed to rally around a new coach that they all claim to love and want to play for the past 10 days. Which brings us to Thomas Brown, who arguably was set up to fail. Went from passing game coordinator to offensive coordinator to head coach in just a few weeks. Yeah, with this improbable meteoric rise only serving to underscore the level of dysfunction within the Bears organization. Unless he gets a lot better a lot sooner, we could probably scratch Thomas Brown off the Bears head coach search lists. But for a week or so, Brown said all the right things and looked like a real head coach at the podium. However, we all should have known We all should have known better. After all, the guy got named head coach. The first thing he did was to ask for time off during a crisis. What could go wrong?
Oh, yeah, nothing.
Shit.
Yeah,
Oh.
sure. Go away for a weekend.
Yeah, thanks for naming me head coach. Hey, can I have the weekend off? Oh, but wait, Aldo, before it gets worse, Yeah. Oh, man. And then there's Ryan Poles, who seems to have grossly overestimated both his ability to scout talent and the talent on this roster. In fact, it looks like Ryan Poles tore down one team only to build a shittier team. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, it's looking like another tank season. Now it's looked like a tank season for the last 10 or 12 years, Aldo.
Yep. It sure has.
Oh, man. This was a very revealing loss for Ryan Poles. After 3 years, his team still lacks true difference makers on the field. He preached about his culture for 2 years, only to watch his locker room overthrow the head coach he selected. Oh, man. The Poles we trust has gotten really stale, man. Yeah. It wasn't the only one taking shots. Bears barroom personality Greg Gabriel says, until the O-line is fixed, this team has no chance. Yeah, hard to disagree with that, Greg. Yeah, for a former offensive lineman.
That was like a Captain Obvious post.
Yeah, for a former offensive lineman, Poles has watched teams destroy the Bears' offensive line all season. Yeah, Caleb Williams, you deserve so much better. Remember when we were told this was the best situation for a rookie quarterback to step into? Man, how bad. I'm old enough to remember. How bad has it been? Well, I prepared a chart. Yeah. Who's been sacked 50 times? Yeah. Only one guy been sacked 50 plus times. Yeah. On Sunday, the 49ers sacked Williams 7 times. In all, the Bears have allowed 7 or more sacks in a game 3 times this season. Remember when Poles said on Hard Knocks, it's going to be hard to make this roster? Man, I'm not sure this guy is good at evaluating talent or building rosters. Yeah. During the last press conference, Ryan Poles said, I've learned a lot over the last 2 years. You can't make this up, man.
I know. This is a comedy show.
Proving that he's just another Bears GM using the team to learn on the job while the fans suffer through the growing pains. And that's what you get when ownership is looking for the cheapest alternative. I just wish Poles knew how to pick blue chip players, Aldo. Man.
I hear you.
Making matters worse, this week reports surfaced that Poles is frustrated having to report to team president Kevin Warren instead of reporting directly to ownership, and that he might not have taken the job if he knew about this power structure.
What the hell? Oh, my God.
Whoa, way. Yeah, if only he knew how upset Bears fans are with the power structure in the NFC North. Man. Right? Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, unhappy at the job. Who do we report to? Is this really a situation that any new prospective head coach wants to enter? Man, we're in trouble. Yeah, the reality is that Ryan Poles is now officially finished in last place in the NFC North for his entire Bears tenure. The guy does not deserve to be GM of any organization. This offseason was so screwed up by the...
I'm sorry.
You had enough.
No, my fucking finger twitches.
This offseason was so screwed up by not hiring a new coaching staff, it really can't be forgiven. Doubling down on Eberflus, passing on coaches that wanted to come here, not marrying a head coach with a rookie quarterback, picking Shane Waldron, which he was super happy of his process, which I thought was kind of childlike. He was like, it's revolutionary. Yeah. Remember, did you see that clip?
Yes, I did.
He's like, yeah, we asked him to do all this situation and all. Everybody in the league is going to be using this.
Yeah, we gave him 2 minutes to come up with this.
Right. He thought it was the greatest thing. I thought it was childlike, man. For these sins alone, Poles should be fired. This is the third consecutive time the Bears have drafted a quarterback high in the draft, brought him in with an obvious lame duck head coach, and then fired that coach. Man, you can't make up this level of dysfunction. Over the next year or so, Matt Eberflus will be paid nearly $20,000 a day to not coach the Bears. Not exactly money well spent. So, do we fire Poles to get the head coach and GM on the same timeline? Will the next firing finally do it for the Bears? How many firings do we need to break the cycle? Yeah, maybe we keep firing until we get to Staley the Bear. I'm sure Staley's got a team-friendly contract when they flew him into Chicago to coach for his interview. But let's get rid of him. Fuck Staley. All right. Oh, man, what a mess. Now, with the season effectively over, the players have little to play for, except for Caleb Williams, who's on pace for 3,700 passing yards, 535 rushing yards, 20 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and an 87 passer rating. In spite of it all, the rookie's been pretty darn good for a rookie. So what's next for the Bears? A national TV turn on Monday Night Football in Minneapolis against the Vikings. They've got 4 games remaining, 3 of which are division games. The fans will be watching to see which players have packed it in early. After all, these players are supposed to be the future of the franchise. The players pointed fingers. Now it's time for them to look in the mirror. That's Bears' state of affairs.
Everyone on this show is a dog and a loser. Not John. He's the best, except for me. Except for
To
me.
me, Vrabel.
We're finished talking.
Great job, sir. And I apologize for my fuck ups in the background here, but you nailed it.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post, right? But you absolutely nailed it. I mean, and PJ, God bless him. He's come on. He's from Bears Country Productions, and via the chat, he's saying, I think you're being too hard on him and so forth. But
look,
you know,
it's time. This team needs a veteran GM and a veteran head coach at this point in time. I'm not saying,
I agree. I agree because their mistakes, the Eberflus and Poles, have let it become worse through their inefficiency. Yes, I agree with that. We need somebody, and and I don't even know if it has to be a veteran, but it has to be somebody who can have that Mike Ditka type of answer, because that's what this team needs. They need to shake up the
at
culture,
this point
right?
in time, of the coaches that are available.
I agree. That we know of, right? Right.
I mean, I do have some notes on Vrabel. I could probably.
Yeah, find those. And, but I wonder if there are other coaches that we may not be aware of who have that. But that's the criteria they should have. Ben Johnson, great offensive genius mind, but I don't know if he's going to, that could be like another sort of Tressman. Will he get the respect of the defense that has just fucking given up? And they need a head coach there who is going to come in. And there you go. I agree. With Joe Gordon says, fuck it. Which I agree. I agree with you. We need somebody with the gumption, the bravado of a Johnny Santucci, and to, I don't want to say scare these guys straight, scare the players straight, but they need to respect the head coach. And it's not going to be easy to gain that respect from players who have become jaded, right?
These next 4 games are going to be rough. They got nothing to play for.
Right.
Except for the ones who have expiring contracts. Caleb Williams will play because he's a guy who is playing, to break the rookie records or set a good rookie record, show get in as much playing time as he can and play hard, for the next players and regime, and work on his leadership skills. But I get what PJ is saying. Yeah, we tried it with John Fox, but if you remember, John Fox built a pretty good culture, a pretty good locker room that Matt Nagy inherited.
That's a great point. I didn't like him as a head coach and on-field decision maker, but he did change the culture, because that culture was about where it is now. Yes.
Yep.
You're absolutely
He
right.
was brought in for him. But like for Vrabel, I did take some notes on it. Here's Vrabel's coaching resume: 6 seasons, got 54-45 regular season record, 2-3 playoff record, 1 trip to the AFC Championship. 4 times he had 9+ win seasons on offense. He's had two times he's been top 12 in yardage, 3 times top 15 in scoring, 4 times top 6 rushing yardage, 3 times top 10 passing touchdowns. Defense 2 times top 12 least yardage. So I mean he's pretty balanced. You can see he builds it pretty evenly on both sides of the ball. You know, it's just with Vrabel, you know, I listened to what you're saying about how he could maybe, or someone said he maybe stick it out and, you know, survive or get him. I mean, to me, you have to bring in someone new that's going to be married to the, you know, reset with Caleb and the head coach and a GM, put them all on the same timeline. It doesn't make sense. I mean, Poles hasn't, like you said, he hasn't built a good roster, man. You could argue he built a shittier roster than he inherited.
Yeah, you can make that argument. That would be an interesting thing to exercise for us to do, is to examine both those rosters. Maybe we'll do it next week.
Let me ask you a question.
Soon.
Bill Parcells had a quote a long time ago about how you win is by building the offensive and defensive lines. So it's not like this knowledge hasn't been out there, because Bill Parcells has been out of the league for 20, 30 years. This knowledge has been out there. You know, why he picks like light skill position players in the top of the draft, you know, instead of building, you know, I mean, he picked Darnell Wright. Okay. Gervon Dexter, but you needed to build a whole offensive line. I mean, I have some other notes here. Let me just grab this real quick.
Why don't you add? Let's answer J2K's question while you're looking for that. J2K asks, Tuchinaldo, how much does the 3-4 transition with Vrabel hold us back? In other words, we play a 4-3, moving to a 3-4 defense, and I don't think it holds us back at all. I think what's happened now with the 4-3 is that
much.
Most situations, it's not a 3-4 anymore. You've got 4.
They might have already started today. They picked up the guy off the practice.
4-3 and 3-4 is very hybrid situation. It really is.
They signed a guy. They signed a guy today off the Packers practice squad that's 6'5", 338.
Yeah,
that's a big man.
It's a big man.
You know?
Yeah, so maybe you're right. Maybe they got their mindset on Vrabel already, and they're
already
making moves.
looking to be flexible with personnel. But here's some things. They're trying to spend a good deal of money on Larry Ogunjobi. That didn't work out. Spent a big bag on Tremaine Edmonds, who hasn't been, I don't know, worth the whatever gigantic contract he got. He let David Montgomery walk to pay DeAndre Swift more money.
Mm-hmm.
Let James Daniels walk to pay Nate Davis more money. Cost the Bears a 3rd round comp pick with the 2022 signing of Byron Pringle. And, you know, the Chase Claypool we traded for the 32nd overall pick. That barely, I think he had less than 10 catches. You know, we could have picked a really good player with that. I think the Steelers picked Joey Porter Jr., who's a hell of a player, cornerback. But
yeah, you know, besides Porter, I looked at the list just recently. Let me see if I can bring it up. That was the 2023 draft, right?
Caleb Williams was a good pick. But I mean,
Sam Laporta came a couple of picks after Joey, and I love Sam Laporta. He played at Iowa, right?
Yep, Iowa. Yep, a long line of Iowa tight ends. Kittle
Lions
destroyed us
great
on
drafts.
Sunday. Yeah, they've drafted well. That's why they're going to be playing for the Super Bowl this year.
Yep, exactly.
They drafted extremely well. I don't even know the name of the guy who's drafting there.
Brad Holmes.
I couldn't tell you. Okay, Brad Holmes.
Yeah. Brad Holmes.
Yeah. Is Chris Spielman is not there anymore, right? He's on the.
I don't think he is. I know his name came up a lot in the chat when the GM names were coming up. So if anybody knows what Spielman is doing now, you know, I don't know, man. I feel like we have to hope that Poles and Warren are going to work their shit out, and that Warren is going to take a step back and allow Poles to make the decisions. But if Warren is convinced, like many of us fans are, that Poles the job is a little too much for him, then bring in your guy. Let's do it. Let's do it now. Don't wait another fucking season. Don't let him. He signed a 4-year contract, so he's got 1 more year left on his contract. Eberflus, for some reason, had 2 years left. They signed him longer. He actually Poles signed somebody as his head coach who had 1 more year on his contract than him. I don't know how that works, but Don Burr says Chris Spielman works in the front office
of the Lions.
Yeah, okay. Of the Lions.
Go
ahead.
Don
You
Burr,
want to say?
Don Burr might be useful after all.
That's right.
He's helping, Aldo. He's helping.
Finally, now you feel
Ryan,
sorry for us,
right? Yeah, he's starting to feel. We're starting to get the pity party from Don Burr.
Exactly.
Ryan Poles, like you said, you have put together that great video, which I've seen like 2 or 3 times now. And I'm like, the more I watch it, the less I'm impressed with Ryan Poles. And the last press conference, he came out wearing sweats. It looked like he didn't even know there was a press conference last time.
Yes.
That was the weirdest press conference ever. He kind of sat there like he'd been scolded before they came out, and then it came out later. He was like, he doesn't like reporting to Warren. He was hired. There was no Warren. They brought in Warren. Hey, you're going to be reporting to this guy now. How'd you, I mean, I know it sucks for the guy. How would you like to, you wouldn't like it in your job either, if you're somebody hired somebody right above you. You had a great relationship with ownership or whatever, but at this point it doesn't matter anymore. If they inserted Warren and whatever, he's going to be the head guy there. I'm with you, Laz. We need some dogs, man. Poles to me he's too young for this kind of job. I mean, he looked like a neutered dog. He's too young for this job. Bring in Vrabel is a fucking hard ass.
Yeah.
He's going to dominate Ryan Poles.
Right.
He's going to want some say over personnel.
The other thing, I know fans criticize this a lot. The whole, the Bears have asked GMs and head coaches to do a fake news conference so that they can get an idea how you handle the media. But I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. Yeah. It's like, maybe they would have learned this Poles doesn't look very inspiring, man. Maybe we should look at candidate number 2, and then maybe candidate number 2 is a good veteran guy. I like
giving get somebody that's guys, proven, like guy that's drafted good players.
I like giving young guys an opportunity to prove themselves, but this organization right now is not at that stage. This organization is at a stage where you bring in a proven veteran and he mentors a guy to come in and be the first GM in 10 years or something like that.
Name of the guy that was in Baltimore, the former tight end.
Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie Newsome. Yeah, Ozzie Newsome picked awesome players, man. Mm-hmm. Him, and then there was after that was like Scott Pioli, I think, followed after him. He also picked great players. That's why the Ravens have been competitive for so long. They drafted well.
Yeah.
The mock press conference. Yeah. That was kind of what like Poles was doing in an interview when he was interviewing offensive coordinators. A little mock situation. You got 2 minutes to figure out this diagram, all this stuff. It's like he was so proud of himself too. It was like
exactly. Slick asked you a question too. He asked, "What do you think about Arthur Smith, who's the offensive coordinator with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now?"
Doing a good job. Terrible head coach, but seems to be a pretty good offensive coordinator. Of course, overseeing all of that is an awesome coach in Mike Tomlin.
Yeah,
one of the best coaches in the NFL.
And when that's come up before, Greg always reminds me, Bill Belichick, that was his second job. He failed with the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. But the thing is, I think Belichick, I'm pretty sure, had 2 winning seasons in his 4 or 5 years with the Browns. So he had success, and that counts. I mean, if Ryan Poles were to leave the Chicago Bears right now, you think there's going to be a lot of NFL teams breaking the door down to bring him in for an interview?
Great point. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
I don't need to say anything after that.
Yeah. Ron Rivera's name has come up.
He'll be lucky if he's a scout. He'll be lucky if he's an area scout.
That's where he will go back to, yes. Yeah. Will they consider Ron Rivera?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I think I don't think he'd be one of the top coaches out there if you put him next to a guy like Vrabel or Ben Johnson. Maybe you want to give him a chance. I mean, Ben Johnson, say what you want. He looks like a hard ass kind of, he's got angry face every time you look at him on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You know, and then Brian Flores. I think I'd rather have Brian Flores than Ron Rivera. I love Chico. I just
Chico
think
wants the job.
Yeah. I mean,
but here's the thing about here's the
it's
thing
better
about
than
Chico
what we have.
is he had GM authority and head coach authority, and there is nobody. He was fired last year. There's nobody on the team from any of his previous draft picks, or at least high draft picks, is what I read somewhere. When they cut the cornerback that DJ Moore destroyed Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football, whatever it was, last season. He did a terrible job of rebuilding that team, and then the very next year, a new head coach comes in and turns things around. Yeah, they got a new quarterback. They got the quarterback, but the Dan Quinn knew to hire Cliff Kingsbury, an offensive coordinator who could work with a college style type quarterback. Slick says Ron's NFL record is 102, 103, and 2. Thank you, Slick.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could still rather have Vrabel. I mean, you're kind of like getting Bill Belichick without the age, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that like this is we're replaying the defensive head coach again, but I mean that's just where we're at. You know, we don't have our defense has fallen apart completely.
Exactly.
Look at we were shredded by San Francisco, absolutely shredded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was no fire, there was no good scheme, no blitz. You know, nothing. They just, I mean, it was ugly. Well, like I said, it's one of the top 10 worst performances by a Bears team I've seen in my life.
Absolutely. I don't argue with that. But I will argue with your point that you have to turn around and maybe you're not saying this, but you have to turn around the defense with a defensive head coach.
Yep. No, that's what I'm saying.
I disagree with that.
Oh, you don't
I disagree
think so?
with that. I think it's more important to team Caleb up with somebody who, at the very least, is going to bring.
I'm not going to disagree with you either, though. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's
can see
hard
that
to
both
judge
ways.
that. Yeah,
I think I'm kind of more caught up in like at this moment, these are the head coaches who are going to be out there.
Yes,
and
in which case, Vrabel looks like the best, right?
Yeah.
What about Aaron Glenn?
Aaron Glenn or what's Brian Flores, you know, and three out of 4 of those are defensive head coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
see now, what Aaron Glenn could do is he could change the culture because he's a good rah Dan Campbell type of guy. Yeah. He's not a defensive genius, but he gets guys to play like really fucking hard, and that would be welcome.
Yeah, Gabriel, he's against Brian Flores.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from what I've heard on the show with you. And, you know, that might open up a can of worms if Flores were to be hired. As much as I love his defense, I mean, look at the past few games, man. The Vikings defense has been kind of picked apart recently, you know?
Right.
Yeah, how about the Bears hiring all-around elite staff? Yep.
What do you think about Josh
McCown? This is a dark horse name. A guy who might eventually become a head coach in the NFL.
I think so.
He understood defenses very well. You know, when he came in here and just lit it up for 300 yards passing, you know, like, oh, okay, damn, this guy understands Trestman's offense, you know, right? He gets it, you know?
He does get it.
So a guy, you know, he went down, I think he coached high school, then went to a small school. Yeah,
that's right.
Fangio was a head coach. He didn't really do that well, you know. I mean, look at I flashed up Vrabel's record, man. He's got a freaking excellent record in Tennessee. You know, not exactly a major market team.
Yeah,
you know. So I mean,
let me respond to Paul's comment here. Does Aldo know Caleb Williams paints his fingernails? That's bullshit, Paul. Yeah, he paints his fingernails. You know what?
I don't care as long as he's whistling
50 times, and he still gets up and play hard. He ain't afraid. He'll kick your ass, Paul.
Yep.
So get away from here from the paints his fingernails. Get the fuck out of here. And
got our ass.
That's right. Yeah. And I don't buy into these homophobic things that are being said about Caleb Williams.
With the right coach, man, this kid. Imagine if he played for Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Caleb, what if there was no Patrick Mahomes and Andy Williams drafted Caleb Williams? you'd be looking at a whole different light.
It's very true.
So
very true.
The Bears just didn't have anybody. They haven't had anybody to develop a quarterback. Never, except for Ed Hughes.
Greg Landry.
Greg Landry, Ed Hughes. Yeah. That's it.
Jesus. Well, Mike Martz was supposed to be that guy too.
Yeah.
Adam Gase actually did a nice job in his 1 year here with the Bears. He did a nice job of tutoring, mentoring. He was a fucking weirdo. There's no doubt about it.
Sometimes we just hire the weirdest guys like Tressman, Emery, Adam Gase. Where do we find these guys?
We go to the library. Last says Arthur Smith was Vrabel's OC in Tennessee. So was Matt LaFleur. So he can identify good offense coordinators. That's good to know, Last. Thank you. Yep.
Paul Laz is helping too. It's like helping like Don Burr.
We got production assistants here.
That's awesome.
Paul, I have the same question. This is why I'm questioning Ryan Poles' effectiveness. How do you have first and 9th pick in the NFL draft and be 4-9 after 13 games with 7 losses in a row? Because there's a lot of other effed up teams in the National Football League. And look, somebody wrote today that it's highly unlikely that the Bears at the end of the season will be picking any higher than 9. So, man, that's they're playing like the team that deserves the first overall pick. Oh man, unbelievable! All right, we got a half hour left on the show, and guys, let's turn our attention
before we get to pop culture. You have the schedule up there. The schedule we can see?
Do.
It's like I just want to point out to people the remaining games on the schedule. We're sitting at week 13. 4 games left, man. All 4 of those teams are going to be in the playoffs. Aldo.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Now one of them might be in the Super Bowl.
Do you think Thomas Brown, if he wins 3 out of the last 4, deserves heavy consideration to remain as head coach?
He's going to go 0-5 though, Aldo.
It does look that way.
I know. I'm sorry. He just doesn't have a roster. I mean, he may be a good head coach. The roster fucking sucks. Look, we can debate, and this is the point I wanted to raise. We can debate whether or not Poles should have traded the number 1 overall pick again, and taken Drake May or Jaden Daniels and got a haul again. And then this year he'd be in position to draft guys like Mason Graham or the next big left tackle, or both of them,
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. He took Caleb Williams, so we have Browns, and like I said in Bears Say Affairs, he was set up to fail. Basically really set up to fail. He stepped into an impossible situation. I feel for the guy. But this is like not going to help. It's not going to help his career. No. If I was him, he might be looking back and saying, "Man, I wish I didn't take the interim head coach." I was fine at offensive coordinator, bro.
Yeah. Give it to Eric. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I gotta go see my family this weekend. Give it to somebody else. Give it to
mind-boggling that they're worse without Eberflus. I never would have thought that would be possible, but hey, they're worse. They're worse without fucking Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, it's like teams usually get a bump up. They play a little harder after the head coach is not the Bears. They played their worst game of the year.
Yeah, played their worst game ever. Yeah, going back to the roster, I mean, if you're looking at even like Montez Sweat seems like just an average guy now. I don't know what the deal was with him. Is he injured? If you're talking about the best players on the team, Caleb Williams has the brightest future. You have to build around him, and then Roma Tunze looks like he could be a good player. Maybe not like a different.
His father thinks he would have 130 catches this season.
He got his feet down in the end zone. That was beautiful. It was like to me, it looked like it was impossible to get his feet down, and he did. Both feet in bounds on the touchdown. But and then I'm trying to think of like other players that would start on other teams. Maybe Darnell Wright. TJ Edwards could probably start somewhere else. Jalen Johnson. But,
No, they got talent, Tooch. They got talent. The defensive backfield before the injuries hit was one of the best in the National Football League. There's no doubt about it. You mentioned C.J. Edwards. He's fucking phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Yeah, Edmonds is a gigantic.
Really good.
Yeah, you know what the thing about Edmonds? He's still one of the youngest middle linebackers in the game, so he could potentially improve.
I'm just going off like the past five games. There's a noticeable decline in the Bears defense. I mean, it's visible. You know, before
no doubt.
The season, we're holding teams to under 20 points a game. You know, you can win games like that. After that, they're just, I don't know whether they got figured out, sniffed out, injuries caught up to them, players just stopped playing. I don't know. You know, it's something, though. It's something that to me, it points towards a culture change is needed. You know, where
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. I mean, the players gave up on Eberflus. Hell, they staged a fucking mutiny. You know? They staged a mutiny. They waited. They might have waited until Poles and Warren came in the locker room and then chewed out their head coach until the head coach had to leave the room in shame. You know, they got what they wanted, and then they stunk it up. You know, now they're probably confused as hell. You know, the next 4 games are going to be brutal. I mean, I'd be surprised if we compete. You know, I mean, I don't think we'll win a game. But,
it's possible. I'm hoping we do.
The Packers compete.
It's Monday Night Football, too. We usually get our asses kicked on Monday Night Football.
We're on the road again. You know, the road record is terrible. You know, I don't care how much is Thomas Brown going to rally these guys, you know? I don't know.
We're going to see. We're going to see. I was hoping he was going to meet the media today, but they've pushed everything a day back because it's a Monday Night Football. But I hope. I don't think we've talked about this, Tush.
No.
Are you now, hindsight being 2020, do you think he should have gone? You mentioned it in your state of affairs. You think he should have gone to see his family the day after he was hired?
I don't know. Look, man, if you're serious about the job, you cancel all your plans.
I'm sorry, you have to.
You have to. I know. I'm sorry too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm sorry.
Baby,
I love
next
my
year
family.
there'll be thanks. I love my family too, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys will have a good time with grandma and mom and granddad and the uncles and stuff, but I have to do
Talk
this.
about starting off on the wrong foot.
Yeah. Vizzo wants to know who's your pick for the Heisman.
Man, I like the running back from Boise State, but I think it'll be Travis Hunter. You know, I love the kid. I know a lot of mock drafts have had him going to the Bears, but the running back on Iowa is pretty damn good. If you've seen Caleb Johnson,
what's his name again? Yeah,
Caleb. He's like a poor man's Ashton Jeanty. You know, he's a good one. I think he'd really do well here. You know, he's a Bears running back type of player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I think that in New York, the athletic committee that holds the Heisman, I think they should just invite the 2 players you mentioned, because I don't think there's anybody else seriously in the race, or should be. Genty and Hunter are the top two guys. I'd give them a trophy each.
Make an argument for Dylan Gabriel on Oregon, but I think he's too far. He doesn't have the votes.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's led Oregon to a hell of a season.
Right. J2K says Genty is the better player, but Hunter is a great story.
Fantastic
you're probably right. Hunter. I mean, the 2-way playing by Hunter, and he delivers in both positions. It's pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to shift gears?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
We put a bow on the Bears, right? Do you think?
Tired of talking about those fucking losers.
Oh my god, just absolutely brutal.
Oh my gosh! All right, so here's a trailer I wanted to play for you.
The film movies.
Some of them are, and some of them are not. Okay. This first one is a movie that was released in September. Not a lot of people know about it. You might have seen some mention of it. It's called Abrupto. It's a 50-second trailer. I'll play it for you now.
My name is Les Hackle. I'm 35, live with my parents, and was recently dumped by my girlfriend. It's all right. She had issues. Anvil, there's a bomb in my neck. I have no idea how it got there, but if I don't follow their commands, they say it'll go off. I just need to stay alive long enough to figure this out, to find out who's behind it. My name is Les Hackle, and I have a bomb in my neck, just like everyone else.
Okay, we have
great.
to see
That looks great.
right?
That looks great. Yeah,
right.
I love it. I mean, it reminds me of like the stuff from the shows from the past, like puppets. They use like the head and
Right, the
Yeah,
Thunderbirds.
yeah. It's great that someone brought it back.
It
Brought
played
back to
here in
life.
Chicago at the Chicago Horror Film Festival, and I haven't read anything much more about it, but that trailer just sucked me in. I'm definitely going to watch it. Definitely
That
going to
looks
watch
fantastic.
it. Yeah, they're all sort of like Gumby figures or something like that. All right, got another trailer for you. This one is coming out, I think, on Netflix in a week or two. It's called The Gorge. Heard of it?
No.
Anya Taylor-Joy is
I
in
love
it,
her.
and so of course,
Her
I'm
ethereal
going
beauty.
I'm going to jerk off to this movie
Yeah,
probably
of course.
20 times.
It's so cute.
Even though she's not very sexy looking in this, but still, her voice, her essence, her
Yeah.
aura.
We know how
is
good she can look.
Exactly. You're the man.
I have new orders that require me to go dark for at least a year, maybe more. A special assignment in an undisclosed location.
As an elite sniper, are you presently under any private or military contract?
No, there's not a lot of reasons for me right now.
What if I gave you a reason?
There she is. West Tower Observation Post. You're home for the next 365 days. There is no outside communication here.
What's that on the other side?
That is East Tower. Contact with the other side is strictly forbidden.
So what's the mission? To keep people from going in the gorge?
No. You need to stop what's in the gorge from coming out.
What the hell is that?
The gorge is the door to hell. And we're standing guard at the gate.
What's the truth about this place? What's the truth about the gorge?
This place is evil.
So obviously I was wrong. It comes out in February. It's on Apple TV. What'd you think of the trailer?
Nice. Yeah, I love that, man. I'm up
Yeah?
for that.
I
Yeah,
figured
love those
you'd
kind of
like
movies.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Although I got to tell you, that trailer took way too long
Yeah, it was a little too long. Yeah, we didn't need that much. Yeah.
We don't need to see them playing chess, or having a drink from across the gorge. It's like, all right, just show me the action shit,
The guy's Miles Teller. Do you know that actor?
He's
Who's in
excellent
Whiplash.
actor.
Did you ever see Whiplash?
Love it.
Whiplash was great, man. If barflies haven't seen Whiplash, man, it's like cruel. That what was it? J.K. Simmons as the conductor.
I was just gonna look up his name. Yes,
the music teacher that he enrolls at that prestigious school. And Miles Teller's his drummer. And J.K. Simmons an absolute dick. Man. It's like one of the worst people ever. Yeah.
Yeah,
the ending
he
was
is
great
really
too.
fantastic. J.K. was in he was in Oz, the prison drama.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so he played a white supremacist.
Yeah.
And boy, you talk about terrorizing. That was unbelievable. J2K says this about the gorge. This looks good, but I bet there's not enough monsters, romance, drama hidden in an action movie. You might be right, J2K. Why don't you watch first? Let us know. Anybody's got Apple. Whiplash is epic, J2K says.
Yeah, great movie.
All right, I got two more for you. I want to squeeze them in. And then this next one is actually going to be released on Netflix. I think it's in 2 days. And so this trailer is also too long. And I wish I had time to cut it up a little bit. But here it is. It's 2.5 minutes.
I love Christmas. I don't love that we're working Christmas Eve.
I'll see you at lunch.
It's the most wonderful time.
Good morning, Keegan.
Good morning, day shift TSOs. You've all been chosen to spend your Christmas Eve here with 200,000 impatient travelers.
Is this because I'm Muslim? Is this because I'm black?
Is this because I'm white?
Airports turn people into such dickheads.
Excuse me. This isn't mine.
Ethan, today is a day that you're going to remember for a very long time, but if you handle it right, you're going to have a chance to forget it. Just relax, okay? An associate of mine is going to step into your line, and you are going to make sure that his bag clears the machine.
Listen, I work for the Department of Homeland Security.
That's like the janitor at NASA calling himself an astronaut. Let's cancel the text, or we execute your girlfriend. Attaboy. You're a low-level TSO. You're going nowhere. I'm telling you how this goes. One bag for one life.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the guy you listen to.
Ethan, are you listening? We have a 911 call placed from inside LAX.
You killed him. I gave you some pretty simple rules. You got cute. I'd say you killed him. You, I see, like to improvise. Sit right back down. You leave that post, there's going to be consequences.
We gotta go. I don't care what you do to me.
Who said anything about you? You got 10 minutes before everybody in this airport dies.
You think you can take control, huh?
You're pathetic, and you're asleep.
I guess I woke up.
Did we just watch the whole movie?
Yeah, I think we saw all of it. Yeah, it's another one that was too long, but it's like it's kind of like a reboot of Die Hard.
Yes,
old Die Hard, a Christmas action movie.
Good idea.
I like the kid Taron Egerton. The Kingsman movies are really good.
Yeah,
enjoy those.
To me, I was not that impressed by that trailer. I love Bateman. He's great in everything.
Yeah, Marty Bird.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm with Ravi. I got to see it, but I'm not expecting that much. It'll be interesting.
Plus, it's going straight to Netflix, so
yes, exactly. It's
I hope for a little dash there, but
yeah. Have you seen Black Doves on Netflix?
Black Doves doesn't ring a bell.
I haven't even heard of it.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
D. Stern was asking.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. Well, I got one more for you. This one
Okay.
I have started watching. It's playing currently on MGM Plus, and I actually had time.
Is it a movie or series?
It's a series.
Okay.
And
I might have watched the same one.
Okay. Is it Earth Abide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So we've both seen it. So let's play the preview so people can get the premise. And then
There's
you
only
and I will
2
talk
episodes so far.
I know. It's I think
I
number
looked
3
tonight.
drops tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Viral outbreak has occurred. It is highly contagious and lethal.
The emergency alert system. This is not a test.
No. No, no! Mom? Dad?
Everyone's dead, hon.
There's no one left. Did you sleep through the matinee, kid? Whoever might be left is out of time.
What do you want?
I haven't seen anyone in the longest time.
Everyone disappear but me. Now you.
If we stick together, there's enough to keep us alive for years.
I was sure I was gonna die alone.
How can we protect the child?
I need you to believe in us.
Hope. That's how we'll win in the end.
I cut 45 seconds out of that goddamn trailer. It's still too long.
Still too long.
Yeah, the stuff that I cut out was actually scenes from episode 3 and maybe beyond. So you and I didn't get any spoilers there. But so, what do you think of the first 2 episodes?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, I have the novels. The novel's written in 1949.
Right.
I have it on my shelf, but I haven't read it. But I mean, I have like a lot of old science fiction and pulp novels, that I collect when I go to like bookstores. I usually buy
Love it.
And stuff. I love the smell of like old books and stuff.
Yeah, me too, man.
Comic
I'm with
books and books and stuff. So I have a ton of like old paperbacks and stuff wrapped up, and it was actually pretty good, Sparta. The snake biting him scared the piss out of me. I was like, holy shit.
It did.
Yeah, I jumped, man. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been okay so far.
Okay, I think is the perfect way to describe it. Episode 1 took way too fucking long. My wife and I were like, my wife gets really impatient sometimes, and she goes, "Should we fast forward through this part?" And I go, "No, we gotta, see what the filmmaker was trying to get. It's a feeling, it's a vibe." But it was like they set the premise up that this guy was a survivalist. He was by himself, and so he wasn't affected by the thing and the virus. And now he's
fighting off the
basically
snake bite.
Yeah, exactly. And the snake bite drives into the hospital back into civilization where he sees everybody's fucking dead. Yeah. So just like the trailer, it took too long, episode 1. Episode 2, it picks up because that's when he meets that lady. Yeah. And he bangs her and they're starting civilization. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I was thinking about this and I was like, this would have been paperback, Sam Mass, not bareback. The show would have. I would like it a lot better if it had premiered before that one Last Man on Earth show, which was like a comedy with Will Forte.
Yeah,
it's really funny. Yeah, it's very funny. It's just like what would you do if you were the last person? He does all he like shoots out the windows to go into places, just like shoots the whole door out and goes in. Like nobody's around. He takes a bath in tequila, margaritas and shit.
That's what I would do.
It's just goofing off, he don't have any toilet, so he just shits in the pool, someone's pool, he just fills it up with shit.
I love it. That sounds funny, really good.
So I mean, it's like, okay, this is kind of the same story, just one was a comedy and one's a drama,
Okay.
But, I watched something that I think you would enjoy. It's like, and maybe Donna too. I don't know if she probably will, but she won't fast forward through it because the stories are only like 5 minutes long. But it's called Secret Level, and it's on Amazon Prime, and it is it's like shorts. It's by the people that did Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was a bunch of short cartoons on Netflix. Same gang of people, animators, all different animator studios and stuff. And it's all short stories based on video games that people played throughout, video game history. And they're like 5 minutes long. There's some pretty good ones. There's one that was really funny, and then there was a Dungeons and Dragons one that was okay. There's some like Space Marine ones. I don't know some of these video games because I didn't play all the video games. I played my share.
Same here.
But the stories, if you liked, I really love some of the stories that were in Love, Death, and Robots. But if you like that show, I think you'll really like this show. If you're a video game fan,
I'm not familiar with Death and Robots. And speaking of robots, J2K asks you, have you seen Wild Robot?
Yeah, I saw Wild Robot J2K. In fact, I went to the one of the few remaining drive-ins theaters in Iowa to see it with my girls.
Oh, how cool is that?
We sat outside, put the speaker in the window, went and got popcorn and sat,
Love it.
We opened up the back of the hatchback and, it was fun. We sat outside and watched a movie. They were blown away. It's like, I hadn't been to a drive-in movie theater since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to one?
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
A long time ago, like when you and I were growing up, it was a bigger thing. It was more prevalent, and now it's like, you go and you sit inside, we don't deign ourselves to sit out in the elements to watch a movie. It's like we go inside, we sit in full recline with a waiter bringing us, custom nachos or something,
No, I'm going to be looking for a place. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be looking for a place to take my grandson because I took my daughter, I want to keep it a tradition in the Gandias that drive theaters.
This one has been open since 1949 or something like that.
Oh, how cool is that?
1949, yeah. So
there's a good documentary on about drive-in theaters and movie palaces and stuff like that. When I was a kid growing up, the movie theaters held 1,500 seats, and they were ornately decorated and stuff. It's not like the mall shit that we have now, unfortunately.
People in the chat room know Secret Level on Prime?
Well, let's see.
Anybody? Nobody, huh?
Well, by the way, Aldo, if your wife asks if you should fast forward through a movie, should Bears fans be prepared? Absolutely, Keith. If you're watching on tape, definitely. It doesn't seem like anyone had a thought on that one, but I would be looking for a Secret Level.
Secret Level. They're very short episodes, man. It's like
short is good.
Food. There used to be that streaming service called Quibi. Do you remember that, Quibi?
Yeah, sure.
I forgot the name of them.
Is it still on?
It's gone. It didn't last long. I loved it, man. I was like, I watched them, and you watch like in little 5 minute, 2 minute increments.
Right.
Just like because when I was a kid, I used to love I forget which shows they were. Like Amazing Stories, I think was one of them. They were like serialized, chapters and stuff, like a comic book.
Like the comic book, right?
So Quibi was really cool, man. There's one show in there called 50 States of Fright. It has like a horror story from every state in the United States.
How cool is that?
Really cool. I think you can see those somewhere. I don't know where they're on. They might be on the Roku channel. I think they're on Roku channel. 50 States of Fright. There's some really good ones, man. Like the Michigan and the Minnesota ones were really good. Oregon one was really good. It's like a creep show, but 5 or 10 minute long creep show episodes.
Scottish Bear says, guys, Netflix still game Scottish comedy about two old guys from Scotland. Put the subtitles on and you will die with laughter.
Yeah.
You heard of that? Still game
No,
Scottish?
no, I liked it. I loved. I've been to Scotland before. I love the Scots. Are like they have a great sense of humor. You know, I remember when I went there. I don't know where's Scottish Bear from. I went to Edinburgh and Leith. And
do they talk like Sean Connery?
Mr. Worry.
Good.
Oh, I love the Scottish accent. Yeah, no, I'm out there. It was like I forgot. I went in the early spring in Edinburgh, and man, it was cold. And like some of the Scotsmen, I don't give a shit. They're out there in their t-shirts, like hardy Scotsmen, And my wife and I were like, well, let's find a place to eat. And we're riding the bus around Edinburgh. We went to the Camera Obscura and the Castle Royal Mile, and we did like a Scottish whiskey museum tasting and stuff. Leith. I remember I went to one bar. It was half of the bar was in Edinburgh and half of the bar was in Leith, and I think like the side of the bar in Leith closed earlier than the one in Edinburgh, so you had to like pick up your drinks and move to the other side of the bar.
That's funny.
Like they closed on half of the bar. After they closed like midnight,
Yeah.
And we're driving the bus around. I wanted to get something to eat, and I was like, "Oh, where's a good spot?" And I was like, I saw one like coffee shop restaurant. It was like all the black cabs were parked there, and I was like, "That's got to be the place." If all the cab drivers are going there, the food is good. So we went there. It was excellent, man.
Good thinking. Ravi says, I rewatched the first 3 Scream movies throughout the weeks. They aged very good. I appreciate how on point the writing and soundtracks are from each, how the franchise analyzes the genre is meta. Yeah, that's a great franchise, the Scream franchise. I can't say I've seen any of the latest movies, but to me...
David Arquette and Courtney Cox, right?
Oh, yeah. Nev Campbell. She's been excellent. The Monster... No, Nev Campbell's still with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just a clever idea. The guy behind it, Williamson, I think is his last name. He was the creator of some like teen romance TV series that was also very popular. And then he sold this movie idea and, about using all the tropes and cliches of horror movies to drive the plot. And what a brilliant fucking idea that was. Brilliant fucking idea.
Yep. Did you watch any other movies?
Let's see. I saw a couple old ones that probably won't interest people. I think that's about it that I wanted to talk about. I can't wait till the football season is over so I can it's like all I can do is...
I made a list, although I forgot I was gonna. So I made this list so there's the movies that are on my list, and my wife hates movies that are in black and white. And I'm like, look, you gotta some of these are classics that I haven't seen. I need to see, I love It's a Wonderful Life. I watch it every Christmas. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Same here, bro.
And it's black and white, or you can watch the colorized version as well. It's not as good, but so some of these ones I started actually watching The Third Man last night.
Love it. Carol Reed directs. Orson Welles stars.
Orson Welles, Joseph. What's Joseph Cotton?
Joseph Cotton.
Joseph Cotton. So I started watching that, and I was like, there was a third man carrying the casket. Ordinary looking. I was like, I haven't gotten it. Orson Welles is the friend he came to visit in Vienna, and I haven't gotten that far in it. But
a great soundtrack too. The
Vienna, the cafe music. Yeah, my wife and my mom were commenting that they liked the music and stuff. But then The Killing, of course, which is Stanley Kubrick, and I started watching that, and it has
love it.
Yeah, I saw it. So that's like I haven't finished that one either. I get so tired I fall asleep and stuff. But
it happens to me. But quickly on The Killing, a great crime drama. A guy played by Sterling Hayden comes up with an idea to commit a crime where they're shooting a racehorse in one of the biggest races of the year at this racetrack.
To rob the racetrack.
While everybody is like paying attention to the racehorse being shot, he is leading a robbery of over $1 million from the racetrack cashier. But like in all great film noir, there is a woman involved who is going to fuck everything up.
And that's Stanley Kubrick, I think, right?
Yes, it is. One of my favorite filmmakers.
Yep. Then Night of the Hunter. Do you know this
Nice
one?
with Robert Mitchum.
Robert
He's got
Mitchum, he's a
love and
preacher.
hate on his
Fake-
fingers.
Yeah, right. He poses as a preacher and befriend. He was in this cellmate with their father, who buried $10,000, and all he was out to get the $10,000. There's that one. Then A Touch of Evil.
Orson Welles again,
Orson Welles
beautiful cinematography, great soundtrack also. Marlena Dietrich is in it. Charlton Heston plays a Mexican,
right.
border policeman or something like that. It's great. And it's got one of the most interesting, fascinating opening shots in movie history. It's a dolly shot where they're following this car. They must have had the camera on a dolly, really, and driven by a truck, and it jiggles around a little bit, but still it was a very innovative shot. It lasts like about 3 minutes. It's really cool movie.
Does Orson Welles direct?
He directed, is one of the final films he directed with Hollywood studio support, and it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, and then believe it or not, I've never seen The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, John.
I know. It's like I kind of was like my wife, where I wasn't watching these old classics, but I did watch On the Waterfront with my father one time many years ago.
Nice.
That was I need to rewatch that one. And then the last one I put on my list was Strangers on a Train.
Oh yeah, Hitchcock.
Hitchcock, right? Exactly. So.
It's a great comedy by Billy Crystal and Dan DeVito. That was a takeoff on that movie.
Oh yeah, Throw Mama from the Train. That was classic. Yeah,
yeah.
That was a great movie.
Watch the old one, and then when you watch the comedy, you'll laugh even louder. Man. It's really good.
I mean, recently I've been having to watch Christmas movies with my girls and stuff. We watched Elf, of course, which is a classic.
Sure.
And they love the Polar Express.
Oh, I haven't seen it all the way through. But,
wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
They love it so much that we had a hot chocolate party the other night.
How cool is that? Tom Hanks plays or has voices.
Parts.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I got all the toppings for the hot chocolate. Whipped cream, mini marshmallows.
How cool is that? Love it. Scottish Bear says that his brother saw an early showing of Nosferatu, and he said it's a master.
A new one?
Yes, there's a new one. Exactly. I'm sure that's what he's referring to.
Who's doing this one? Actors and directors?
Yeah, let me see if I can find out here. Nosferatu. Yeah, it sounds like we should probably 2024. We should probably talk about it next week. I'll bring the trailer next week. But behind it is Robert Eggers, Bill Skarsgård, Willem Dafoe. Didn't Willem Dafoe play?
He's got to be the vampire.
Yeah, Lily Rose Depp.
Okay.
Nicholas Hoult. You'll know him when you see him.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, About a Boy. That was a great movie.
Yeah, I'll bring that trailer on.
Did you ever see that one, About a Boy?
Remind me. It sounds familiar.
The same guy who wrote The Commitments and what's the name of the?
Oh yes,
Roddy Doyle, based on the Roddy Doyle novel.
Robert De Niro's in it.
No, it's Hugh Grant and
I didn't see it.
Toni Collette.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Toni Collette, Hugh Grant. Oh, you got to see it. That's great. Nicholas Hoult. It was his first movie. He's like 10 years old or 13 years old, something like that.
I usually stay away from Hugh Grant movies. I don't know why.
Oh, he's really good in this one. Yeah, it's like.
But if you recommend it, I will definitely watch.
You don't like Love Actually? That's a great Christmas movie.
We were just talking about that the other day because
seen it, huh?
I have never seen it.
Oh,
yeah,
wow, it's so good, man.
Apparently, who was it?
The cast is fantastic.
Keira Knightley.
Yeah,
she's in it. She just was on a podcast, and she said that she feels she was like sexually taken advantage of because at the time of the filming, she was only 17 years old.
Yeah, she was young.
And apparently there's a scene.
Cute.
Yeah. Apparently there's a scene where the director was telling her, do it more sexy, do it more sexy. She said it was definitely very creepy that this older man is telling me to behave like that. But I haven't seen it. My stepdaughter said
great. Man, you'll laugh, you'll cry. It's very the ending is fantastic.
Laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah, I mean there's some love stories in there just great. Then it's so funny. There's like 5 or 6 intertwining stories and stuff. It's
is that a Gary Marshall movie?
No, it's what is that guy's name? He did the Black Adder movies.
No, I don't.
God, what is his name? The guy who did Black Adder and The Young Ones. What was it? Classic British.
Excuse me. Director Richard Curtis.
Richard Curtis, yeah. Ben Elton and Richard Curtis. So Richard Curtis is the one who wrote this one, but he wasn't working with Elton. And Elton and Curtis wrote Black Adder and The Young Ones. And Richard Curtis is great in this. It's so good, man. The cast is fantastic. Liam Neeson, Colin Firth. What is that lady's name? Emma Watson. What is
Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson. What's the guy who played Hans Gruber in Die Hard?
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman is in it.
Laura Linney, Bill Nighy.
Laura Linney, Bill Nighy. It's got great cast.
Yeah, it looks like a great
There's
cast.
a great love story with Colin Firth and this Portuguese girl who doesn't speak any English. She's like a Portuguese pop star, really cute. There's a good love story in that one of his little story.
Is Denise Richards in it?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Denise Richards. Yeah. And that's like a story. I know, right? She's so hot. There's a story where this one guy is like, he's really ugly and he's like, you can't get any women in Britain. He's like, I'm going to America. He's like, he's going to get laid and he chooses Milwaukee. It's like, he meets all these beautiful, they just love his accent, you know? Like Denise Richards is one of the hot chicks that like falls for him.
Oh my gosh, she is forever hot. She'll be 100 years old. She'll be hot.
Yep.
Joe Gordon, thank you very much. We're about ready to wrap things up here. I got a long fucking day tomorrow.
Yep.
Tooch, what do you want to plug? Any final words?
I was a little sick last week, man. Just like running up, that hard ball of phlegm. It's like when it gets in there, like you get a scratchy, tickly throat. Then it's sore. Then you're like feel like crap. That's like I've been trying to get rid of it and stuff. It's like they should have a clinic where you just go and they stick this thing down your throat and suck that hard ball of phlegm out.
I hear you.
How happy everyone would be if they had something like that. Just walk in, get rid of that shit, man.
Yeah.
And like the gray, you're always hawking up the gray, yellow gray hawks, those phlegm balls. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's the
fucking worst.
Ruski.
So weekend sports betting tips on Friday?
Yep, weekend sports betting tips on Friday. Anthony had a big I've been doing pretty well at college basketball, man. I think I got
you always do every year.
Big pick on I took Colgate plus 32.5 versus Kentucky. Come on, too many points. They lost by 11. And took South Dakota State plus the points. They're beating outright Nevada. And then my big top pick was Wright State -5. They killed them by 11.
Sweet.
So, 3-0 today. And then unfortunately I liked the Bears +4 versus the 49ers last Sunday. I'm like, they're going to get a bounce from the coach. They played the last few teams tough. They went in there. Oh, it was just like, I should have known better. It's a road game on a Sunday. The 49ers were so overdue.
You ever use the app where you can sell your bet? It's called Prop Swap or something like that.
Props. I haven't. I know I've had guys tell me, do you want to sponsor, retweet and sponsor and stuff like that. Let's see if I have. I was doing the World Series of handicapping too. I have. Let me see if I
Prop Swap is a app where if you've made a bet like on the Bears and in the middle of the first quarter, you say, I made a fucking mistake. If you bet, if the bet is worth $20, then you could probably sell it for $2 or $3 and make back a couple of dollars, but you're also in danger of losing your original bet. It's called Prop Swap. ESPN 1000 has commercials on them.
Yeah, it was in 4th place in the World Series of handicapping for NFL.
Wow, nice! Look at this
motherfucker. Yeah,
very nice.
Good. I'd like to finish first and just get that title.
Yeah, no shit.
2024 winner.
Well, you could say top. What was that? 3rd place, top 3.
I'm in 4th right now, so I need to get up there. Yeah.
Hey, exaggerate a little. Say top 3. It sounds better.
Yeah. So then Anthony and I entered that a while back.
Nice.
Beginning of the season and stuff. So
we'll see you this Friday, 7 p.m.
Friday. And I
or
wonder
6
what
p.m.
we're-
Central.
Our flight. I mean, I'll probably do fantasy football. Goon. I got a lot of work to do. Like last weekend, it was nice weather here. It's like 55.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't feeling good on Saturday, so I went to Sunday. I got up, and my wife and I felt better. I got up on the ladder and I cleaned all the gutters and hung the Christmas light.
Oh, that's wonderful, Tooch.
You know,
but I don't want to hear that. I gotta go.
All right.
Listen,
Sorry, buddy. Yep.
Listen to you doing gardening work. I gotta get some rest.
The
Johnny
Christmas
Santucci, you're the best. We'll look for
All
you
right.
on Weekend Sports Betting Tips Friday, 6
Good night,
p.m.
6
and also the Barfly Tailgate Show and also Fantasy Football Goon. He's a very busy man. Send them your love. Send them some money. Give them something. It's a holiday season, giving season.
All
My
right,
name
Aldo.
is Aldo Gandia. I will see you tomorrow. I'm
Don't
going to be
forget to
on
watch
with
those
Steven.
movies.
I got
Brawl,
them
Brawl
all
and
down.
Cell Block 99 and
I got
Bone
them written
Tomahawk.
down, brother.
I'm
I might
really
watch
curious.
one tonight. I'm kind of
I'm
fired up.
curious of what you think about the Bone Tomahawk or Brawl and Cell Block 99.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch those. So we got a lot to talk about next week, and hopefully a Bears win.
Yeah.
For Johnny Santucci, I'm Aldo Gandia. We'll see you tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Tucci will see you Friday. Bye-bye.
Yep. Good night.
Oops. I got to press